Hello, friends, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 3, To the Moon, with your host, Link Speaker.
And Crypto Kai.
In today's episode, we have a lot to cover, so strap in while we dive into new all-time highs, Link pre-staking, our newfound gem, and possibly the first sight of the next alt season. We are also happy to have Neeko, a guest from the community, on.
Hey guys.
So, let's dive right in. Did you guys see the Chino video where he was talking about $100 chain link soon?
Yes. Exciting video.
Well, I think it's him connecting the dots to what a lot of us already knew. So to kind of break this down for you guys, to some of our listeners, Chainlink has an impressive pre-node partners. And one of the partners that have announced that they are launching their own Chainlink node is one of T-Mobile's subsidiary companies that basically runs the largest telecommunications provider in all of Europe.
Huge.
So, which is massive, right? You have this company that is attached to the second largest telecommunication giants in the world, talking about running its own Chainlink node. Like, to me, that's massive. What's kind of your take on that, Neeko?
I think it's actually incredible just because I think a lot of people tend to overlook certain things when it comes to this technology. And that's like a big, a huge factor in this ecosystem, especially with where we're going and where we're heading. The fact that there's a company that large and that wide of a network to be supporting Link, I think just goes to show exactly where we're headed.
Exactly, and it goes to show too where the direction of this mass adoption on a global scale is too. If you start talking about telecommunication giants running Chainlink nodes, which is, if you look at the Chainlink ecosystem, the most diverse and fantastically built ecosystem ever created. What happens when Verizon and Comcast they want to run their own node because T-Mobile is earning massive amounts of money, and then AT&T hops on board and starts using all their infrastructure? Like, I think this could be a domino. This could be just one of the dominoes that makes Chainlink just go absolutely mental. I think there's a lot more than view on the surface with this. What do you think, Crypto Kai?
Yeah, I 100% agree. After watching this video, it made me even more bullish than I already am on Link. So just for those that might not have seen, Deutsche Telekom is the company that we're talking about here, and they're currently at around I think 55 feeds, and they are doing an average of nearly 900 link per day through their 1,400 responses over a 24-hour period. So it's kind of getting into, for something that's just starting as this node operator, gives you kind of an insight to what we could potentially see. And I think that that's on a small scale. Like what Link Speaker said, imagine this coming over to the US and these, possibly bigger companies like Verizon, AT&T. It is really just that domino effect before we start getting into even more of the retail sense and these other areas where they might want to operate their own node.
Agreed. And I'm just personally really excited for what this means for the future, and to kind of take it to a different tone here. When we look at mass adoption and what the bull run will bring, let's just take a second to talk about the huge news that Elon Musk is now accepting Bitcoin for payments for Teslas, right? And then pair that with his $1.5 billion buy-in. I mean, you start to see that all these companies that are operating this massive amounts of software, infrastructure, and all these other things, how much more efficient all of this technology does, how much more efficient that Chainlink makes these systems. So I think I think that this is going to start happening a lot faster than most people think. Did you guys also see the article that Morgan Stanley's investment division is considering a $150 billion
Oh
buy-in
man,
into Bitcoin?
yeah,
Yes,
that's
mind blown.
huge.
So, like, do you guys think that this is about to speed up, or am I the only one here, or do you guys think that this bull run, this mass adoption is about to skyrocket?
Yeah, 100%. I think my expectations for the rest of this month and then especially March were already fairly high, fairly bullish. But I feel like the Elon Musk move and now this, I think it just kind of makes things could possibly be astronomical in comparison to what I was thinking. What about you, Nico?
I think the same. I think honestly, we're not even close to understanding what we're about to experience, and I mean, I'm all for it, but I think it is also really good to kind of keep that game plan and to understand like what we are a part of, and to really understand like the ecosystem, the entire ecosystem, and obviously with Chainlink, but including every aspect of this entire
Hmm.
blockchain sequence. And it's just incredible to see everything that's being accomplished, but mind blowing to the fact that everything is kind of coming into play now, and all of these major companies and major figures are showing face now and really making a difference and making an impact into this sector.
When we start talking about mass adoption, right? We're talking. You're kind of taking the standpoint of all these people coming in. We start seeing all these things start happening, and all these companies buying in. One thing I'd like to kind of take a step back here and chat about for a second is something that Mark Cuban has even talked about on Twitter, and that is gas fees, right? Mark Cuban is actually very active in the DeFi crypto space. He's a huge supporter of OV, has a huge stack of OV token, several other altcoins as well. But the one thing that he's talked about, and honestly, most of the traders are talking about, is gas fees, right?
Mm.
when when you start getting network congestion and you have all of these people all over the planet submitting transactions to be confirmed by node operators, and they're charging 100, 200, 300, sometimes on huge network congestion as high as $500 for these gas prices. I mean, where do you guys see this being an end? Do you guys see mass adoption taking place in this type of an ecosystem?
No, not at all. I can't see that being a thing. I see. I mean, at least the traders, and even some investors that are just trying to get into, some lower in tier three type of coins. I see it kind of pushing us away.
And I definitely agree with that. I mean, I saw an example of someone who said that they introduced someone to Uniswap. And they basically were like, "Are you trying to scam me?" And it's just because it's kind of intimidating when you're going to try to make your first purchase on something that you found and you did your research on, and then all of a sudden you're like, you're investing $200-300, and then you're spending that much in
Hmm.
gas, and it's kind of like it throws you off, especially if you're brand new to this. That's people are kind of scared to spend $20 and when it's just going to nowhere in a sense. But I think that definitely needs to be addressed, and I hope that they are putting work into it. So hopefully Ethereum 2.0 will bring some kind of resolution to that, just because, like you said earlier, I think if that doesn't become the case, then a lot of challengers will be showing face.
Yeah.
Well,
Something that you kind of mentioned. You talked about like people thinking that you might be scamming them, and I think that will play a huge role in this potentially not being a mass adoption among like the everyday consumer. If it gets to the point where the buy-in is way too high, I mean, you are going to have people thinking that you're scamming them. I think there's people that I know I talk to on an everyday basis that still think crypto is a quote unquote scam. So it's going to be interesting on what Ethereum 2.0 can do and how, like, what direction they take with trying to get these gas fees under control.
Agreed. And I see it as a barrier to entry, right? It is a barrier to entry for mass adoption. And the title of the episode is To the Moon, right? We know that we are moving in that direction. We see the way that the market is poised. But in my thought process, my head, in order for us to get to the moon, we have to facilitate mass adoption. We have to facilitate lower cost fees. It makes the Coinbase fees look like child's play, right? That everybody's pissed off about these Coinbase fees, but then when you switch over to the Ethereum ecosystem, I want those Coinbase fees back, right? I want those $25 back. So I'm curious to kind of see where this goes. I know we talked about it on another episode, but I'm curious to see what Ethereum does to address these gas prices, and I'm excited to see where these partnerships with some of these scaling solutions, like we've talked about in other shows, goes, because without scaling those gas prices, I think the bull run is delayed. Now, let's flip that token for a second. Now imagine they actually scale the gas prices. They actually roll out a solution that solves those problems. Holy cow! You want to talk about releasing the floodgates, right? The second that happens, we're going to the moon, right? And so that's why I'm super excited to kind of see where these partnerships go, and kind of how they scale them. But it has to happen, or competing ecosystems like Cardano and Polkadot are going to start getting a lot of traction. So I hope Ethereum sees both of those systems as a viable competitors. So let's kind of move on from the griping and complaining of gas of gas fees, and then let's kind of chat about something that's a little exciting here. We talked about the Chainlink link pool coming soon, right? Chino also did another video on this, and the coming soon portion has now been removed, and you can now visit the website and go in and try. It's almost like try and stake your tokens, right? And so do you guys see that as a staking tease, or do you guys see that as, they're just working on their website?
I personally see it as the staking tease. I think, yeah, it might have that kind of face covered look that, yeah, it's just them working on their website. But no, I think this is like the pre-testing phase. They're trying to see how the community will react, and yeah, how the website is working. And I think we're seeing the integrations kind of come to works and come to light right before our eyes, and that's what that visit button is. I think it's us getting ready for possibly here in a few weeks, a month, for this staking to be live.
I definitely agree with Crypto Kai on that. I feel like, they're kind of giving us a little carrot in front of our eyes, and just to experience about what we're about to get ready for. And, honestly, I think it's time. I'm excited for it. And I'm definitely looking at the whole potential behind the staking. And I know everybody's had so many questions on like what the returns are going to be and how everything's going to work out. And I'm just looking forward to it all. But it's just really refreshing to see that, a partner so close to the actual team is integrating something already that's been looked forward to by so many of us for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, and we've talked about it on the show here too, is with me as an investor, right? If I am an investor, I want to maximize my investment, right? And when I have done the research on Chainlink, I'm an informed investor, and I know that Chainlink will change the world and has amazing long-term potential if Chainlink accomplishes its goals. Why would I ever want to sell it, right? And then you add staking, turning this asset that I personally as an investor do not want to sell into a passive income stream. Holy cow.
It's the holy grail.
Literally. Like it makes a what was once passive asset, when you think of normal investing stocks, you just got to hold it, and you hold it, and that's it. It turns a passive asset now into an active asset. So that's staking, guys. For anyone that kind of skipped a few episodes ago and doesn't know too much about staking, staking is locking your coins into a smart contract for a period of time, allowing an organization to use it and earning passive yield or passive fees on those tokens. And so with Chainlink Pool, Link Pool now kind of teasing, and then one of their people on their Twitter, one of their co-founders, said soon you'll be able to put your link to work through Link Pool before staking is released.
Ooh.
That's super exciting, right? So, guys, we will keep you in the loop with whenever staking comes live. We'll be talking about it for an entire episode when we have more information. But let's take a different approach here and go in a different direction from Chainlink here for just a second on the show. And we've been talking about, going to the moon, mass adoption, where that goes, where the future goes. And Crypto Kai and I wanted to kind of talk about a project that we have been closely following that we feel super excited about. And this is not a shill. This is not invest in this project. This is do your own research. And we are very excited to show you something that is facilitating mass adoption in the future, right? And that specific project is called MobiPay. Right, and MobiPay is this project that is building multiple apps. It's building 3 completely separate but interlinked applications that will allow people who have their wallet to instantly purchase items at over 500 of their retail partners. Just to name a few of the big ones: Uber, Airbnb, Target, Amazon, just to name a few. This is a company that launched in 2018, has been working, has had multiple series of investors, has been developing this ecosystem, and they're coming live right now. Their marketing initiative starts in March 1st. And so what their goal is to allow you to use their MBX token. One of their apps will be an exchange, so they'll have an integrated exchange in their ecosystem, allowing you to swap cryptocurrencies and trade them. One of the other ones is a wallet that you will be able to scan at your stores, at your Jamba Juice is another big one that is a retail store. There's so many, and also do an online version of that. They'll have a similar to how MetaMask is a extension. They will have that extension to where it will link to Amazon, to your Amazon website, to your Amazon account, and allow you to instantly purchase with crypto. What do you guys think as crypto investors? Do you guys think that's huge?
Oh yeah, very. I mean, this is the start of what we were just talking about. Just complete mass adoption. I think this is what almost forces and pushes the everyday consumer to eventually start using cryptocurrency in the everyday world for almost all their purchases.
Definitely agree with that. I think that once it comes to the point, like with this specific project, people are looking for something that can fit into their everyday lives. And with something like this, it's directly integrating into things that they use on a constant basis or places that they go. So it's kind of a why wouldn't you? Especially when we're moving in that direction. And technology is not going to slow down for anyone. So at this point in time, we're watching the beginning. This is almost considered, I don't know if anyone else pays attention, but Mark Cuban considers this the basic, the Internet 2.0, where we basically had in the 2000s, all these crazy new companies coming out, and kind of everybody was very hesitant. And then look at what happened, over the years, and now we're in the next stage. So it's just really interesting and exciting to see so many new innovations that are popping up, and especially with this kind of use case.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know if you guys have had to explain crypto to your friends before, but like we kind of talked about prior to the show, I have made it kind of a mission to educate as many people as possible. Sean will even laugh at you. he'll set up. I co-own an Airbnb management business as well, and he set up some meetings for me to go and chat to some of these people, and I end up DeFi pilling them all the time. Like
Almost every single phone call afterwards.
yeah, every single one. And the number one question I get asked though when I'm talking about crypto is, oh, can I spend it? Or like, I didn't think you could spend it anywhere, so I'm not investing in it, right? This eliminates, well, really obliterates that barrier, right? It allows you through their different apps, using all three apps using the MBX token, it allows you to now purchase with not only any crypto that they accept, but also with any fiat, and it instantly connects in this seamless manner. And it's a Stellar token, so it's built on top of the Stellar ecosystem, which Stellar is focused on quick payments, right? So I'm personally very excited for the project. As an investor, I'm personally very convinced that it is a unicorn. I'm excited. Mm-hmm. I'm excited to see where they go. And I don't know what other points that you wanted to talk about on that, Crypto Kai, but I know you were pretty excited to talk about MobiPay as well.
Yeah, just a little bit more about it, just how it struck out. I mean, this team is up there. I mean, up there. We're not quite where we think Link's team is, but I mean, they've established a great team. They're still adding to it every day. And they're giving us tons of announcements. It seems like weekly announcements right now. The whole coin, at least my feeling on it, is just super bullish. I'm super excited. The future that this coin has already shown to us, especially this past week, is going to be quite the fun ride. So
I agree. And something else just to cover here for our listeners, the main reason that we are excited about this project is because it takes out so many barriers for all of our, to be frank, normie friends, right? They don't know too much about crypto. Mm-hmm. It takes those out of it, right? And so we will keep an eye on this, guys. Some of the people on our Discord server got in sub 1 cent at like half a cent. I got in at half a cent, which I'm now 5x up on at current investments in just 3 weeks. So we think this has a ton of potential. It's not a hype project. It's not something that's built on hype. It's built on solid tokenomics, solid teamwork, solid everything. So we will keep you guys in the loop with the progress of this application, and we're hoping to have their CEO on the show sometimes here in the near future. Neeko, anything you'd like to add on the MBX front?
I just wanted to say I definitely agree with that. I think that a lot of people are very much into the mindset of, well, what can I spend it on, or how can I get my money back out of it? Because everybody's looking to get something from it. So I definitely think that this has a huge potential, and I'm definitely glad you guys introduced it to me. I'm going to definitely do more research just because we are moving in that direction, and why not ride the bull,
Exactly. The bull market is going to be extremely fun to just operate and be in. So that's MBX. That's MobiPay, guys. Do you guys' own research. Their website's fantastic. Let's kind of talk about where the market is, where we see it going. I mean, this has been such an exciting few weeks just to watch, right? I mean, when you look at Chainlink just moving so quickly, I think what was the last episode? What was our all-time high that we were talking about?
I believe it was the 26.7 mark, somewhere in there.
And so now with a new all-time high of right about 35.80, you see just how fast we're moving, guys. I mean, that's like a week in a few days difference from our last episode to now, and we're now in the 30s, right? That is a massive move, right? And this is just a start. We're only the second week in to the month, starting the third. And we're starting to see these huge moves. I mean, where do you guys see the next few weeks, next month of Chainlink going? Do you guys have any price predictions that you guys would like to kind of share with with people?
Go ahead and take that. I mean, I'm personally hoping to see 50. I know that that's been on a lot of people's minds. I'm a part of like a little group that we're going to be getting tattoos, but that's another story. But I know that I recently saw Sergey on an interview, and he was basically speaking on how they're going to be 10xing their marketplace, their network, their data. So, being that we've seen the network growth kind of have something to do with the price growth, I'm really interested to see how that plays out. I mean, the team looks excited. Sergey looks like he's pumped up, and I mean, we're only moving forward right now. So it's really just kind of one of those moments where we're gonna wake up one day and be like, okay, that's nice. So yeah, that's my feeling on that. I'm excited.
Let and let me let me just take a step back here for just a second, and because something really cool just happened. Bitcoin just broke 50,000 and set a new all-time high at 50,623 just now. So when we look at the Bitcoin charts, right? Bitcoin is due for its next leg up into the 50,000s, right? When we start looking into that type of added market cap, because that type of move would push Bitcoin's market cap, just Bitcoin's, over $1 trillion, right? And so when we look at that much value being added into the marketplace that is the crypto space, I think the biggest thing that most people have to look at is the market cap. With Chainlink's market cap being at 12.7 billion right now, and you look at its use case, which will to guarantee data delivery on a global scale, when you start talking about $50, $50 is so realistic in just a few weeks. 60
Oh, yeah.
60 to $100 is extremely realistic in just a week.
I've
Few
been
weeks.
seeing a lot of charts on from different people in the community on Twitter that they're really projecting us closer to this $100 mark by like end of March, and that I honestly I see it as a very likely possibility for a price prediction end of March.
I agree. I think $60 to $100 by March, end of March, at some point as a new all-time high is very realistic. Now, I think we would be remiss of ourselves not to talk about the volatility. So, guys, if we are right, because we're not financial advisors, we're just traders and people that love cryptocurrency. If we are right and it does reach those price points, be prepared for a very violent retrace. It is cryptocurrency. Do not expect to buy the top and it not go down at some point. It is the market. It always retraces. So when we talk about it reaching those price points, we're not talking about it reaching those price points and staying there the second it reaches there. Be prepared for some level of volatility.
Yeah, as much as we wish it would stay there,
It
I
does not.
would I would expect if, like, for example, if we reach what 100, I would expect a correction retrace back down to probably high 80s, low 90s, kind of hopefully consolidate there and build a nice support. But that moment when we hit 100, I would expect a fairly quick retrace.
Well, and I don't even think that high is realistic. I think we see as much as potentially as a 50% reduction back down to the 50s to the 40s. If you look at the pattern that Ethereum printed, guys, Chainlink is printing it almost identically, almost identically. And so when you start talking about cryptocurrency and patterns and predictions, you have to notice that there are patterns, and a lot of these coins follow those. Ethereum's, when it spiked up to $100, it came all the way back down to 30 to 40. So that's kind of where I'm drawing my assumption on is doing that. And then right after it had that retrace, do you guys know what it went to?
I wasn't in the space
Uh,
at that point, so
800 to 1,000.
that
wow.
that's
Right
crazy.
after that, right after that, like a few weeks after it had that retrace, it went absolutely mental. So
And those are the face melting pumps that a bull run year can bring.
agreed. And there's so many announcements, guys, that could send Chainlink just crazy because all these institutions we've talked about mass adoption. We've talked about Tesla and all these big companies buying in. What do you think happens when the people that are educating these board of directors, these executives about Bitcoin, right, which is just a store of value, start talking about Chainlink, start talking about guaranteed data delivery, start talking about just DeFi? Because without DeFi, or without Chainlink, DeFi does not exist, right? So if someone is educating these big company boards and executives on DeFi and on crypto, Chainlink has to come up at some point. Has to. What do you think happens when these companies start FOMOing into Chainlink?
Yeah, it's honestly hard to even comprehend what could happen to Chainlink at that point. I mean, I like to think of it as you mentioned earlier with these announcements, like we're literally just the press of an enter key on a tweet away.
Literally.
100%. And I also see a lot of I don't know if you guys pay attention to the charts. I'm sure you do, but I know that the exchanges have been getting drained lately, and that's one of the things that I try to pay attention to the most, because when that time does come and all these companies are getting, really introduced to this amazing innovation, they're going to be needing to get those tokens, and they're going to be needing to provide and somehow to maintain their business. And right now, a prime example of what we spoke about earlier, Deutsche Telekom, they're a humongous example, and as you said earlier, that's just going to be a domino effect. And like, it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling to even imagine where this is going to go.
I don't think we're going to be able to predict it. Like, we can talk about it all day long, but I think this bull run is going to be so much different than all the last ones. We have so many new factors, so many new things that are being introduced into it, where hyperinflation was not nearly an issue, a concern, an issue as it was in the 2017 bull run, right?
Mm-hmm.
Massive companies are not FOMOing in on a global scale into crypto. It's not just the United States, guys. Like, this is a global market, right?
Yeah.
So I am so excited to see what happens. I think March is going to be a very fun month, guys. I think we're just getting started, and I think we are truly going to the moon this year. So let's stop. To some of our listeners, maybe price talk is not as fun. Maybe they're not more of the investors type, but kind of more in this space for other reasons. So let's kind of chat about, maybe as a last portion on the episode, what are you guys most excited for this year? Not price movements, not, oh, I'm excited to get rich and make lots of money, but what are the things you guys are most excited about?
For me personally, I'm a big proponent of just technological advancement. Being in the cybersecurity field myself, with Chainlink specifically, I'm very excited for the actual launch of the ecosystem and what this can do to kind of give us that update and send us forward, have a technological advancement in over the whole world, and see how this really secures and just revamps how modern day legacy systems and all these businesses and large corporations take that and put it to use.
I definitely have to agree with that. I think that right now where we're heading is it's gonna really blow the socks off of a lot of things. And I think what will in turn happen is kind of like the way we use the internet now. A lot of the stuff is in the background, and people aren't even gonna really know what they're using, but it's gonna be integrated into everything we do.
Mhm.
And I think one of my main takeaways from all of this that really kind of makes this all worth it is just being able to introduce newcomers into this and explain it to them, and kind of see that those bright eyes that I had originally when I first came into this, and see the widespread adoption. I think that's what I'm most excited for, because the more that this gets attention and the more that this is exposed to the masses, it's going to make a huge difference in the world. Obviously financially it's one thing, but like what it's going to actually do to keep us moving forward. I mean, we're in 2021 right now. it's crazy to think that we're already this far into to the second millennium of our humanity, basically, and we're already like so far ahead when it comes to this technology. And I swear I wasn't even expecting to find this stuff, and now that I'm in it and now that I'm here, it's just motivating, and it kind of pushed me into wanting to really dive more into this field, you know. And I hope that anyone that is looking at this stuff right now, take the time out, do some research, just look at what's happening around you. I mean, right now the world is a little bit scary, but this is something to look forward to. Even if you're not a tech geek, or, you know, consider myself a nerd, if you're not a nerd, this is still something this is gonna impact your life. So it's better to just be aware.
I agree. It's for me personally, you guys have kind of shared, and so thank you guys for sharing what you guys are excited about. But for me, it's kind of a little combination of a few of these things, and we kind of touched back on last episode. But this is a revolution. This is a decentralized finance. That itself, just decentralized finance, is the revolution. It is taking away control of our money as the people, and taking away centralized control away from banks, right? Banks for so long have used money as a way to control the world and charge us for that service, right? And when instead, and then they go off and make billions of dollars, well, really trillions on a global scale, from our own money. And so this gives us that control back. That's what I'm the most excited about. I'm the most excited about people having control of their money again, earning passive yields off of those assets. Like, this is life-changing information and life-changing technology. And so I agree with you guys. Like, getting on as many people as we can into this revolution is kind of why I talk about it to everyone I know, because I don't want people, when the dollar's value goes down massively, to lose money. So I hope all of our friends get on board. I hope they see the value. I hope they do the research, because this is going to be such a fun, awesome, and life-changing experience. So, well, guys, I think that's a fantastic episode. Neeko, to kind of start off the end, do you have anything you'd like to give our listeners for the end of the episode?
Of course, yeah, definitely. Guys, definitely check out as much as you can. You know, don't get overwhelmed with all this. It's quite intense when you get to look into it. But I mean, this is something that's right now. It's happening, and it's not going anywhere. And I guess the best thing that I can say is just be cautious, do your own research, and just have fun with it.
Crypto Kai, would you like to enter anything, good sir?
Yeah, I think Neeko kind of hit that perfectly. I was gonna kind of touch on that a little bit as well. We hit you with a lot of different things, a potential new bag that you guys might look into. But as always, like Neeko just said, do your own research. None of this is personal financial advice. Very excited for what's to come. So.
Agreed. And guys, please give us some follows on Twitter. Follow us at Link Centric on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channels, and give Crypto Kai and I some follows, and we will keep you guys up to date with all of the breaking news in the Chainlink community. Thank you so much for listening through to the end, and have a fantastic day.
Thank you for having me, guys.